peeps, it's me. We're back. It's Reaper Pro Tips, and I'm your host, and we are joined by disembodied hands, Queen Quindy, the ever-living, and Justin and John, who are kind of ethereal masses out there somewhere. Who can say? But yeah, hi everybody. And I just gave my puppy a new bully stick, so she is totally playing with it and not eating my face for once. So yeah, good. It's already a better day. Maybe you'll get a visitation later. Maybe you'll get a visit. No chompy puppy, sorry. Well, whose fault is that, Pendrake? Particles of Justin again. Quindy. Oh, lovely. That was great. That's great. Oh, hi. You want to show him your bully stick? Show him your bully stick. Yeah, it's in her mouth. It's in her mouth. Good girl. Kiki. Good girl. Go chew. Yeah. Oh, you gotta pick it up. Yeah. Go chew. You're a good girl. Yeah. Good girl. All right. There you got your fuzzball. Your massive fuzzball. So I kind of had a sad this morning. It was a sad and a happy together because I went to a really high level writing workshop a while ago. I mentioned it here and there. It's called Viable Paradise. It's in Cape Cod area, Martha's Vineyard actually. And that was way back. And I started my novels right after I got back from that. The NaNoWriMo right after that. Hi there, Kiki. Hi. Yes, I love you, but you must settle and chew. But I have a blog, and I had just gone to the Viable Paradise website, and I remembered my old blog because they actually linked to it because I made a post about how much I enjoyed and how much I got from VP. So somewhere out there's a link on a reputable website to my crappy old blog. So I actually noticed that I had made a very short update post in 2020 after Kiri passed. So I reread it, and it was kind of a sad, but it was also kind of a happy because it's like, I don't know, it's just my thoughts at the time. And now I have a Kiki, so I just made a new post this morning. And my old blog is, I've got a new one on the new site, so I made links to the old one just for posterity. That was like young me thrashing about trying to figure out writing. Younger me, I should say. But yeah, so hi there. And it's the blog is actually, it was double poignant because Kiri, I would always put up a picture of Kiri when I started a blog entry, and she was my mood Kiri, so I would always choose a picture of Kiri that was like my mood of the time. But the Kiri past one had no mood Kiri. So yeah, it was sad. But now I have a dingo. a dingo to replace my beloved Kiri. I don't know how this dingo's turning out. But yeah, it's funny. I hadn't thought about those blogs for a while, so I probably should clean up some stuff. And all my dog blogs are on there too. I actually had a blog for every single puppy we had, plus I had like blogs for my litters and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly, Agent Marvel. Like when I posted in 2020, I don't think I'd made a post since 2015, and then I made a post again like just now, so it's like once every 3 years at this point. But I do have like 3 people, 3 writer friends. 2 of them are from Viable Paradise that actually follow my RSS feed, so somebody will see it. And when I look at it, like when I looked at my dashboard, it gets a surprising number of views. Like I would think maybe 3 views, but one of my posts has like 121. So I must have wrote something good there. I don't know. I didn't have time to reread it all, so I was like, I just kind of glanced to see how many eyeballs I was getting. Yeah, so yeah, that's for sure, Kerniko. Yep, Kiri lives on in posterity on Reaper streams. Yep, for sure. And Kiki will also. So, but yeah, so that was it's just interesting. So even my last one, which is a really short entry about Kiri's passing in 20, that even got 34 views. So yeah, I don't know. Apparently, I can get eyes on my blog when I actually post to it. So yeah, I guess I'm starting a new one on the new writing site will be a thing. We'll see how good I am in keeping up with it. I'll probably have to set a reminder Though I have been smart because I knew I was going to have a blog, even if it was just updated as news every once in a while. So I actually have written down and stored up a bunch of topics as the couple of years have gone by. I've actually been writing like little ideas for blog entries kind of thing. Yeah, it is interesting to see what gets viewed. Yeah. Yeah, and YouTube is the same way, right? Like sometimes you really see like by far of all of my foundations sorry, all of my my mini painting stuff on YouTube. All that stuff is of all of it, the make your own washes one is viewed exponentially more than anything else. So yeah. All right, now let's talk. So what color armor are we doing on this model? I don't know what the concept art I kind of assume is standard steel. But I'm wondering if I should do a little different or something. I was kind of thinking about a dark blue. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about a dark blue steel, kind of like I do on vampires in Aura. But NMM, not NMM, not other. But it'll go really well with her hair and her wings. May not be canon, but it'll also go well with a red cloth, which is kind of what I was aiming for. Yeah, I don't want to do a gold armor or bronze. I'm already doing a bronze on the yellow lady, Eileen. So I kind of switched my entire brain when I was looking at it this morning because I didn't want to do the same old Steel NMM because, I mean, I did Steel NMM on the Duelist, if you'll recall. So she's already out there, so if you want to see me doing, like, Steel NMM, you can go to the Duelist and see me doing Steel NMM. But yeah, so I think like a dark blue steel, like I used to do like a really blue-black steel almost. We'll see. But I could go a little bit more bluish on this. It'll still have some gray in it because I don't want it to look like cartoon. But yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I think it'll work really well with her color scheme. And then we can still do gold or brass, you know, gold, brass, whatever. Same dealio on a 28 on the fixtures. So we can use that as an accent. And then actually on the chainmail, I think I'll do traditional steel. Just to give it a bit of a different accent. So that'll help break it up a little bit. And it'll also put a little bit of a lighter metallic up near her face, which is probably pretty good. So what do you guys think of that idea? Is that cool with you? Sound fun? Happy Wednesday, Twisted Oma. I have to take my car in for maintenance today and see what else they managed to dig up that's wrong with it, because we are road tripping to Arizona next week, so I have to be prepared. Yeah, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it different. All right. Yay! Woo! All right. So the color that I always used to use when I did this with metallics was like Vallejo's Gunmetal Blue, which is really close to the gunmetal from Reaper. So it's a very dark blue, and it's a little bit muted because the flake in it actually isn't a blue flake. It's as I recall, it's a gunmetal type flake. So like more of a dark gray, kind of a graphite color. So now I just need to figure out how I'm going to do that. I kind of want to do a mixture of, because I don't want, Nightmare Black is going to come up too blue. But I do want a blue undertone. So I'm kind of thinking Nightmare Black added to Blue Liner might get me where I want. Because I want it more blue than Blue Liner, but I don't want it super, super blue. It comes up really super blue with Nightmare. So yeah, I mean, these little, I think the coif around her neck is definitely chainmail. I kind of assumed that this area on her hip was also chainmail, although the way that it's done, it's almost could be padded. Could almost be padded leather. But if so, it's like really tiny for that. I really feel like it's supposed to be chainmail. So yeah, but no leather on this one because, you know, she's probably got like leather padding underneath. because, you know, you never wear metal armor over nothing or you get horrible chafing. But in general, this is metal. And that's why I wanted to. I mean, could you paint this as leather, as tooled leather, very elaborately tooled leather? You probably could. It would look weird, maybe a little bit. There's areas that definitely are like callbacks to just metal, but it really looks metallic to me, Pendrick. So I'm going to go with metal. All of I mean, when it comes down to the Sophies, they switch it up a lot these days. Let's see where I'm in focus. I'm in focus right in here. Okay. But yeah, I've been wrestling with my website a lot lately. My brain is like full of it. And I wrestled with my reader magnet story yesterday too. And then I wrestled with my topic for the $5 PDF for my Patreon, because I think I'm going to change it. So, okay, since y'all are here, since y'all, my loyal people who show up early every day to hang out with me, anybody who's a patron, or even anybody who's not, who might be someday, I need a suggestion for color workshop. Is there a particular color or class of colors or group of colors that you'd like to see a PDF on? Because I was going to do thinning, but then the thinning stuff with all the different paints I've been working with lately, it's all like out there. It's just in different PDFs. And I don't really want to just recycle it into a new PDF. I really would rather do some other stuff. Yeah, it's going to be like 64 here today, which is nice because I'm taking my car in. I can sit outside and just work on my story. What specifically about them, Kodiak? Like what type of blues do you want? Like, it's like, is it how to work with blues? Is it, maybe it's how to work. Maybe I could do one on how to work with blues. Because blues are hard. When you try to layer up and get good blending from dark to light blues, it can be very punishing. How to keep all these subplot plates spinning at the same time. The Kiki plate, the writing plate, and then the main plot of the Patreon and the Twitch plate. Transparency and layering. Okay, that's a good topic. I haven't done it yet. Kodiak. All right. You win. You win. Kodiak wins. Ding 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 ding. If anybody else has any other ideas, though, toss them at me because I hold on. Blues. I'm up for ideas because I've done. After you've done, Lordy, 4 years of content. You start to really run low on ideas unless you have something new in the works. The different colors for underpainting thing. I'm not the expert on that one. DiPietro is, but... And actually, one of our watchers, one of our regular people, D. Clearman, you guys would know him. That he works a lot more these days, so he's not on the stream as much, but he's one of my oldest subscribers, and he actually took a class from Matt and started doing the colored underpainting, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting stuff. I'm going to say pros, cons, when to use. So I'll think about that one. I need to mess around a little bit more with them myself, but that's a good topic though. That's a really good topic. I feel like it's out of my comfort zone a little bit, Age of Marvel, because I've only done a little bit of it. But at the same time, it's well in my wheelhouse because color and color interactions, right? That's what you're really trying to play on when you're doing that. That's fair. Oh, that's a good one, Big Eiler. Painting gray without black and white. Or what would say visually interesting grays. Painting grays without That's a really, you guys are really good today. Dang, somebody you ate your Wheaties this morning, or you got good sleep or something. Yeah, I can do that. I can talk about paint spray with that too. The original formula. Teach you guys how to do that. Well, that's a little too broad, Turgeon. That's a little, and light sources probably would be not a $5 PDF. It'd probably be a $10. So like, do you mean like when I make the call as to whether something is a good OSL mini or not? Is that what you're talking about, Turgeon? Toast is making you sneeze. Maybe it's the yeast. Yes. Okay. Deciding whether. Okay, so that's a totally different. I could do a little $2 PDF on that, on whether a model is a good OSL subject. Yeah, and I've got a lot of examples from David and Mia. If I could get David's permission to use them. Good OSL prospect. That's a great one. I like that one a lot. Cool. That's Turgeon. I'm just going to give you all cred. All right. Have trouble making it look good. Usually when that I can maybe troubleshoot that one for you, just like super simple in R, just because often when you want to do that kind of red, yellow, blue, or green, orange, purple, it's that you still may need to push one dark and one light, and then keep one in the mid. A lot of people will do like a bright, and you can get away with doing a bright cartoony two of those. Like you can do like red and gold and have them be very saturated, and they work great together. Part of that is that the gold, i.e. the yellow, is naturally going to be lighter than the red most of the time, right? But then if you put a blue with those and you make it anywhere in the mid or light, it won't look right. So you have to push it dark because your other colors are mid and light. If you use, like this model, we're going to be doing exactly that. We're going to be doing a really dark blue, a mid red, and a light gold for accents. So it's going to work great because we can do that. So with the, and usually the colors themselves kind of suggest like where you want to put stuff. Like obviously out of red, yellow, blue, yellow is the natural lightest pigment and blue is the natural darkest. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You can get away with doing it like with a dark red and then going up with the going more light with the blue, maybe even really pale, and going with a mid yellow or a darker yellow. You could do all that stuff. But in general, they tend to, like purple tends to be the darkest of the other ones. But you can do a dark green with like a mid orange and a pale purple, and you can make it work. But they're usually then you're muting colors a lot. So it can be a sudden nod smell. But yeah, usually what it is it's lights and darks, or it's that one color has gotten muted, and then the others need to be muted. And of course, if you're going for a dark yellow, most of the time, even then, there are limits as to how dark you can get. If you have a truly, really, really, really dark yellow, you were talking actually a dark olive green, right? And then you've changed everything. Or you're talking a brown, and then you've actually slid it more toward orange. So... But yeah, that's usually my troubleshooting process, and I find that is really the case. Like people tend to reach for all, like then they choose colors for their model. They tend to choose more or less in the middle range of colors, like a 3 to 7 on the color wheel grayscale, when in reality they should push, one a little darker and one a little lighter, and they'll find that things go together better. What else have I seen? Confrontation was pretty famous for using, like, when they did purple, green, orange, they'd actually do, like, the orange would be the shadow on a creamy white cloth, so they do that also. They would be working with not directly with the color. They would be sneaking it in, things like that. And, of course, you can do that with yellows as well. But, yeah, so... But that said, that now that I've just explained that, it actually would be a good PDF. It might be a long PDF to put together because I definitely would need examples. So let me put this down as a future PDF. Making triad colors work together. Troubleshooting. But thanks, actually, because that is a really good topic in Aura, and it would be a really good PDF. It would just be a long one, so it would probably have to go in the $10 level. Work well together. Light, dark contrast. And I'd need to find examples or paint examples. That's what takes so long with PDFs, is if I don't already have an example, then I have to paint something. And that takes a long time, as you guys know, I'm a slow painter. So then it's like, then I have to kind of question mark my brain, like, you know, I almost have to start a new project and actually just use it and then just paint over what you know, to correct things that I don't like, to make it work. Okay, light, dark contrast, muting, consistency, consistently, hiding, sneaking in colors. Into very light and darks. But like you could do with the green, orange, purple, you could do a, oh, what am I thinking? Your dark orange could be a brown, and then you could be using like a medium green and a light purple. You know, that kind of thing. You could be doing stuff like that. Yeah, Confrontation did a lot of that kind of muted green, orange, purple. Like, it seemed like the armies that they chose for green, orange, purple were always muted. Like, they were usually the undead or the Chaos Dwarf types or stuff like that, or Durs. And then with although Durs had some bright greens, and then the models that they chose for the primary triads, the good aligned, you know, ones would have brighter colors like the Griffins. But then the Wolfen, you know, were kind of in the middle there, and they'd have kind of a combo. Like you would see spots of bright color. Are you still chewing that? Good girl. Just checking on my geeks. Saturation, when I talk about muting, that's what I'm talking about, is saturation. Saturation is a loaded term these days, and I actually have started to kind of avoid that term, Babatuk, because the thing is that saturation can mean pigment load, right, is how much pigment, but it also is used to mean brightness or intensity, which is hard for people to visualize when the brightness or intensity is a brown. like ruddy brown, i.e. oxide brown, very, very saturated brown, but it's still muted. So it's not a bright color. So it confuses people when I call it saturated. So saturated is kind of for me, is kind of a little bit of a loaded term. I still use it, but I try to use other words as well to describe what I mean. But yeah, I'm more likely to talk about a color in its pure form and then a muted version instead of saying saturated these days, just because I find that it really leads to some confusion. So yeah. Yeah, infinity. Yep. Okay, but yeah, thanks, Anara. This is a great topic. I'll just have to, I think I'd have to start a new model for it to really, I'm going to put all this stuff away. Thank you all. Thank you all for the awesome suggestions. Whoop, there. Got to put those back in my work area, my writing work area. Excellent. Oh, and that one's a real loaded one, Inara. That one's a real loaded one. Like, because so many people use it different. And I'm not even up on the latest lingo, so I feel like I'm not in a great position to write that one. Maybe a real simple one for, maybe a real simple one. I think Rhonda did one for that, didn't she? Like Rhonda has she's far more up on the lingo than I am because she's taken recent art classes and miniatures workshops. Terminology lingo. That might be a good kind of short, I could do a short basics one though for just a short PDF for $2 tier, and that would be basics. And only just with a couple of swatches to kind of show what I mean with some of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. That's an okay one there. That's not bad at all. Except that that's very, Baba, you can do it. It's totally doable. But for many beginning and intermediate painters, it's fraught with peril. You almost always need to mute things a little bit. If you've got a muted color, everything else does have to be muted just a little bit to look right, unless it's a small accent. Like if you've got a bunch of really dull Skaven and then you do a really bright accent green for the Warpstone, and if there's mostly neutrals on the rats, maybe it's okay, but if you have like a lot of really grayed out colors and you try to throw a bright in there, unless it's an accent or a light source, it's going to clash. So it's teaching people how to do that to get contrast is loaded, and I would say is an advanced topic because there's so many ways to screw it up. There are so many ways. And even then, like, I would probably mute it. I would probably throw white into it. Yeah. There's so many ways to get in bad with that. Like, so many models. I can't even tell you how many models in my color theory classes of past years, over the 2 decades I've been teaching this, color theory. When I do a troubleshoot and I get somebody bring me a model, can't even tell you how many times it's been that they're using a really bright color and a really muted color together. And if they just muted out the bright a little bit or glazed up the muted colors to be a little more intense, they would work better. So yeah. Yeah, that's why we had a staff painter at all, Valandar. Like, it was, of course it's hard. You can't ever really prove the connection, but you know that it's there. All right, back to what we were doing. What did I just do? What color is this? All right, it's blue liner. Had to put some water in it. I'm like, oh no, I got totally distracted on that. Thank you, everybody, for the great suggestions and the total distraction, total derailing of Anne. I'm going to put 4 drops of blue liner, and I'm going to do 1 drop of Nightmare. Yeah, it is. It is a big bunny trail. Yeah. But yeah, using muted and bright colors together is, like I said, it's difficult. I see artists do it. I see a lot of it done with digital painting. But you're painting with light in that case, and I think it makes it a little bit easier. All right, going to pop 1 drop of the Nightmare in here and see what it gives me. And I'm actually going to just kind of do a test here. So I've got that. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this, put it over here, and throw some white into it. That's going to tell me what my highlights are going to come up as with this. I want to make sure that my highlight color makes sense to me and is what I'm aiming for. So hold on. I'm going to grab my mixing brush here. Hi there, Keeks. Oh, hello. What, did you bring me your bully? Or you already threw like a third of it? Oh my god, dog. She's so excited. She's just like, nom, 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 nom. It's like, what was that? It was like the Bugs Bunny cartoon where there's a carrot and he just goes, nah, and it's like a buzzsaw. That's Kiki with a bully stick. All right, so this is good. Yeah, that's about the color I wanted, actually. It's, you can see it's not terribly bright, but it's still blue. I might go a little bluer. Maybe a little bluer. Where is my, I'll put that back. Where is my Nightmare? One more drop there. And Nightmare Black has a high load of high density blue pigment in it, and that's why it comes up so blue when you add white, even with the black in it. So I added a little bit more there. It's going to intensify it just a little bit. Yeah, I think I like that. That's much more like what I would get with my metallic version of this. So let's do a real light version. Yeah. Yeah, or just like puts it through a wood chipper. Kiki's mouth is a wood chipper. You know it's true, Keeks. Don't give me that look. She's just lying right next to me chewing. This is funny because she's never done this before. It's like she's just suddenly realized that she could lie right next to where I am. Like she does when I'm at the table, the dining, our eating table in the other room. It's so funny, like she's just not used to some places in this house she wasn't really allowed when she was younger. So I have to mix up. But I'll remember that I did a 4 to 2 there. Oh, you gonna leave me alone? All right. Not enough scruffles, not enough pettins. Want some privacy? So those are our colors. So that look. So what I'm doing is a 2 to 1 then. Blue liner to Nightmare. And that'll be where I go to plus pure white. So let us do a proof of concept. When you're doing a weird color for NMM, it's always good to pick a spot, and a spot that's kind of fairly simple to NMM quickly, and do kind of a quick proof and see how it looks. And then make your judgment call. I'm going to go down to 2. There we go. There we are. So I got some progress on my Reader Magnet short story yesterday, but man, guys, short fiction for me, it's always been so hard. It's always been so hard. It's really hard for me to generate an idea that works well in a very limited word count. Although this one I don't so much care if it goes into novella territory, and it's really about to, so. I can do a swatch for you. Sure, Kodiak, hold on. Let me grab a card. I could do one on the back of this. Actually, I should do one on the back of the Sophie card. So let's do that. That way I have it. So do a little bit more water in that. So I added some water. That means that the white card is going to show through more. This is not a bad idea. So let me get these down and get my black base so that you guys can actually see it. Hold on. That makes it easier to see. And let me grab the brush again and get these other ones down, and then I'll write down what I'm doing. And hold on, I'll get them all down, and then we'll move the card a bit so that you can get a screen of the whole thing. One sec. Yeah, there we go. And of course, there's probably going to be a little bit of intermediary shades here. So let me put another coat. Actually, let me mix up an original batch of this so that I can get the dark, capture the dark. I do have a tiny bit of white. Now, this is one of the ways you can work with work when you're working up from really dark blues. If you want them to blend a little bit better, is you can add just a tiny. I don't even add a brush full, but I added a little bit of my highlighted color that I did add white to. So I'm going to mix a new batch of this so I can get a less thinned version, since as you can see it's yeah, yes. I think that all of us at this point, I think enough of us have said, hey, James Gurney, that that mini painters over the world are very much aware and continue to be aware as more people do videos to talk about those books, because really they are some of the best. Although I gotta say that the new FAQ, I really like the new FAQ. And I'm still like, I'm fighting for time to read through it because there's so much else going on in my life. But the problem is that I have to focus on my writing right now, and I really, like, every time I pick up that new AK FAQ book for Alan Carrasco, I'm like, I want to paint. And I think those big coffee table painting books, like, that's their use for me. Like, although I do get useful information from them, but like, really, when I sit down and look at one of those and just look through one of those, and it doesn't matter, like, even the old CMON annuals, like, anything that gets your creative juice running, like then you want to paint. So if you have trouble getting in the mood to paint, like save up and get a couple of really nice like miniature painting books. Some of the ones that have the just awesome pictures in them. Something that will inspire you. Yeah, I think Jeremy Bonamont did one for Figon, didn't he? Or am I misremembering? I look at Figon's newsletter when I get it, but I haven't had the time to look through whatever the last one was. I like it because they'll go over some new releases that I usually haven't been on my radar before. But yeah, at this point, so many of our greats have done books, right? I'm way behind the times. I have not done my book. At this point, it will be like, if the world comes to an end and I end my Patreon, I will compile and rewrite everything in my Patreon into a book with new lessons and new pictures. Like that would be like oh yeah, Figopedia. Yeah, I think he helped with it. I think that's because people have been asking me for a book for so long, but it takes so much time to write and to do the examples, because I would want it to be a very instructional book, right? And I mean, let's face it, over time I've become more capable of writing the book that I would want, which would cover not just MSP, but even other paint lines as far as techniques and the differences of working with them. And, the older I get and the more I paint, the more knowledge gets stuck up here, is really the summary. Yes. Yeah, layout. And I do have a good layout program. But yeah, I would have to, and then I'd have to POD it, and it would be super expensive, because when you're doing a full color print on demand like that, it is not cheap, folks. Not cheap. And then you want to make $2 a book after all the work you put in, so you have to price it. And boy, those prices, I'm telling you, like I kind of blanched at the cost of producing my paperback. Like I had to trade paper. Yeah. Yay, Chibi, I've missed you. I see you on the Discord. I don't miss you because I see you on the Discord, but I've missed you. So here you go, Kodiak. Here's that way if I've got the black base in here and the white card, it should actually color balance really well, as long as your monitor is color balanced. So that's you can even make a note. It's a 2:1. I'm going to make a note too. But to get the picture, and then you can screen capture that, and then I'm going to write this down. But yeah, I mean, I think I had to price my trade paper at like either $16.99 or $17.99, depending. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. So this is a 2:1 blue liner, 290, 280 Nightmare Black, and then plus white, 1 drop, 2, 6, and then plus white, 2 drops, 2 brushfuls of that. My shorthand. Sadly, the problem is once I do the writing, I have to show more of the card, and then then the white tends to bleach out my camera a bit. So there you go. But yeah, for trade paperback, I guess it is within the realm of, like what things cost nowadays. I had to compare it. The funny thing is, they always tell you to find a book in your genre, or, close to your genre. So science fiction and fantasy for me, that is about your length, and to look at like the size of it and the thickness of it, and like to get an idea how you want your book to look. And the book that is closest, I actually found it on my bookshelf. Like it was the second book I picked up. But Andy Weir's The Martian is actually almost exactly the same number of pages as my book. I think they're 6 pages apart. Like, it's really ridiculous. I'm like, I pick up the second book, I'm like, oh, this is pretty much perfect. Okay. And I think his is $17. Or it was $17. It's been discounted now if you get it online. This is how traditional publishing works, is they'll do that initial boom release, and then they'll lower the price off, and then they'll put out a new edition at a higher price and things like that. Yeah, it is a lot like Heather Blue, except it is not. Heather Blue, actually, Waffles, has some brown in it. So if you took these colors and instead of working with the black so much, you added a tiny bit of oxide brown, so essentially muting with a complementary color, you would get pretty much a perfect match for heather blue. Oh, nice. Yes, yes. Oh, yeah. Oof, bad, Chibi. At least you have an excuse to go up into the mountains and get sunshine. Frontier blue is a little bit brighter. Actually, I think Frontier blue is quite a bit brighter, more saturated, to use that loaded term we were talking about earlier. This is pretty. Actually, the heather blue and like denim and stuff this is probably closer to that, like the worn navy, and yeah, that triad. This is probably close to that. Yeah, your doctor sounds like a champ, Chibi. So, all right, let's put this on and actually do a proof of concept, which is what I call it when you try out the thing that you think will work and you see if it actually works. All right, I'm gonna pop this out. I'm gonna get my camera down here so we can get close. And I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do this leg. And I am just gonna paint it all blue, even though I think back here there's a little bit of cloth on the back side of her leg and a little bit on the front side as well. Just a tiny bit showing. Yeah, Talon's, the concept art, Reaper's concept artist, his wife, or her wife now. So Izzy's wife is Sophie. That was the original. Yeah, her hair turned out just about perfect. We're doing this very canon in that I was one of the first, I was probably almost the first person to really paint a lot of Reaper Sophies. So the colors that I used to use to paint Sophie are what we're kind of using for this, or equivalents, because some of those were pro paints back in the day. So how we start this armor is going to determine how it goes. You guys remember the rule that if we start, if you start with a light color and shade down, all of your armor is going to look lighter. If you start with a mid color, then you'll get that color. But if we want this to be like a blue-black steel, we need to start with the darkest color. And I am, once again, since I remixed a batch of it, I am going to add a little bit of the color with white in it, just a tiny bit, to help with blending. Because when you've got a blue-black with zero white, it is very transparent, and it will almost always show brush strokes. So we'll just add a little bit to see if we can help with that. And Sophie is also the Reaper mascot, yes. Correct. But Izzy Talon created Sophie way a long time ago. And I'm just dropping things everywhere. Oh, Papa left her bully stick here. She chewed through most of it, and then she decided to abandon it. All right, so we're just going to put this down, and we're going to start really dark. Just like I would start with if I was doing a metallic version of this. And we're going to do the whole boot, because it's really all leather plated, or all metal plated. So this is very close to black. And I'm just going to start and go around. Once we block this in, that should give the front a little time to dry a bit. And then we can start on highlights. So starting dark with your NMM essentially is like you're starting with the shadow. So you no longer have to paint your shadow in, but you need to make sure that you keep your shadow where you need it. And since you want this to be the base color as well, your highlights are going to be much smaller. You want to leave this color in there. Probably half of every surface has to be this color. So like when we do the knee pad, half of it has to stay this dark. I'm going to bring that in. Yeah, if I bring that in, still a very dark color, you can see. So that's a very, very dark, very evil. Ha ha ha. She's not evil. But this will be definitely not a bright and shiny Sophie. Now we could block in our actual brightest highlights, but I always find that that looks a little bit weird if I don't start with just a darker color to work up first. So things are drying. I'm going to blow on them a little bit. This model, as you can see, is very intricate and has a lot of little details, so it'll be interesting to see how we can do. So I want my brightest highlight to be on the top of that knee pad, so I'm just going to start bringing in this color first, and then we'll work up to that, and then we'll hit that. So even with my brightest highlight, I'm going to treat this like a burnished metal. If you were trying to do like a really shiny version of this, then you might go almost straight to white, but that can be very problematic for a mini painter, especially with all of this, the intricacy of the armor. This is definitely not a model I would ever paint in Sky Earth. Plus, Sky Earth just tends to look better when it is on larger models. NMM on small models like this is very simplified. I'm going to hit the bottom edge here. It's very simplified because you've got so little area. Yeah, she's really nice. Like, I obviously I wasn't at ReaperCon this year, so I didn't see her in person at the con, but wasn't at ReaperCon, won't make it to Adepticon. Although I'm encouraging David to enter, to start another entry. So again, like straight down the front. And I am starting with that darker blue so that I can kind of blend it in a little bit. The more blending transitions you have between your darks and your lights, the more kind of burnished the metal will look as opposed to super shiny. And I just put a little bit of a highlight. Let's see if we can get real close and see if you can see it. Let's get in focus at the low level, and oh, I think it is picking up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And then let's see if we can get real close. There. So you can see a lot more that it doesn't blend when you get really close. Hey, Roger. Yeah, well, I mean, that's fair. Just be on it. Just be really on it. Or, haha, or Chibi, since you've been doing so well lately, you should try to paint something for Reaper one of these days and get in as an artist. That way you don't have to worry, and you always get the con hotel as long as you teach enough, if you're willing to teach. I don't know if you're a teacher at heart. So I'm taking, I'm mixing a little bit of my first highlight with my dark blue, and I'm just kind of blending a little bit here. But you can see it's very hard. Once you add any white at all, it's very hard to get a smooth blend. You always get that little bit of patchiness. Oh yeah, I think she makes a great female fighter. Like, just block up the wings. I would love to see Reaper do, and they kind of did this a little bit in Warlord, but I feel like they could do it better now. But I'd kind of like to see Ron create a backstory with female mercenary company and do a bunch of characters for it. Like female warriors and a battle mage and, you know, like a war priestess and stuff like that. Could be really cool. Would give more opportunities for dynamic female models in stuff like, you know, like full armor or part armor. Yes, exactly. Yeah, because female mercenaries would not wear the chainmail bikini. Exactly. They would be more armored. Like the leaders might have armor that's this fancy. But you could do some cool stuff. That's one thing that Warlord did that was interesting. And as somebody, I wrote for Warlord, and then I got to help when I got input when Izzy designed the models for the Crusaders army. But you got to like create models around a story instead of creating just models in static, right? Yeah, this has it does. This is a bit darker and this is a bit bluer than Blue Liner, just because it is got the Nightmare Black in it as well, significant amounts. You did not have Blue Liner. Oh, get Blue Liner. Like Kodiak, Blue Liner plus white is one of my favorite ways to paint like black. And you can use pure black in the darkest shadows if you want still. But, I mean, Blue Liner plus white. I mean, I just added the Nightmare here because I wanted it a little more blue than normal. But it's still one of my favorite ways to paint, like blue-black. Like, if I have to do black hair with the blue highlights, it's Blue Liner all the way. Unless I want it really cartoony, then I'll do Nightmare. Like with Zari. Hold on. Zari uses Nightmare, and you can see how blue it is because I used it for this little pouch as well. But she's got highlights with the Nightmare Black, but it's very blue. Whereas Blue Liner gives you more of a nice blue-gray. It's a very reasonable highlight. Yeah. It's just cool. It's a cool way to get new ideas, right? When you're and Reaper has the same problem I have with my Patreon, whereas Ron has to keep coming up with ideas, right? And a lot of the times the artists, the sculptors will come up with ideas. And sometimes there will be concept art, but often there's not. Sometimes Ron will just talk to the sculptors and like maybe he'll want something like he finds a piece of art and he's like, I want something like this, kind of with this vibe, right? But you could almost like make a really loose framing story for some of these characters. I mean, maybe he already does, and I'm just out of the loop. But and maybe that's just the writer in me saying you could do this, But Ron also enjoys writing, so at least I thought he did. He was our editor when we were doing the Warlord stuff a lot. He read through it all. But then again, Reaper's also in the business of doing, more all-purpose generic models. So, the backstory can be there, but then it can't be mandatory, right? Because if you make it too mandatory, then painters will be like, oh, but my character isn't that. She's not a mercenary captain. So there's definitely a dividing line here. I'm going to just put the line in, but I am going to fill that out a bit. I just want to kind of get it blocked in a bit, and then I want to fade it in on the edges a little bit by using my dark blue. So after I fuzz that in a little bit, you can see how it looks like it's blending, but it's not. It's very subtle. Oh, okay. Yeah, they do go through those posts. Yeah, some stuff's going to be just out there, right? But yeah, James has gone entirely to oils, hasn't he? Or does he still do a little bit of acrylic content? Big Chimpo. My subplots mean that I haven't had a lot of time to watch recently. Yeah, the encounters in the Kickstarter are cool that, it's just hard to, make enough, like it takes so many resources to create a set like that. Right? And you can't, like, you need to do so many to give people, like, a truly broad options, right? So I'm going to do the upper part of that plate. I need to watch how much dark and light I'm getting. Because remember, we need to keep it really dark if we want it to read correctly. And that means really picking and choosing our highlights. All oil. Oh yeah, and it needs to be out there, right? Because James is one of the only ones of us that could do that. He's such an oils expert. Like the rest of us would have to put in years to be able to teach it like he can. So definitely, like that's really a good niche for him. Nobody else is really doing it as much, so not nearly as much as James does. So keeping our highlights small, but I'm probably going to have to glaze, but we'll see. I'm still popping in light down here, so let's get in more highlights. I'm liking this so far. I just need to make everything start blending in a little bit more. I need more under reflections, need more highlights here. It's always very tentative when I start out with the highlighting on a dark metal because I really have to not lose that base color. This is why it's so much easier to do this on like a bust. You've got so much more room. Here, your under reflection might just be this tiny, delicate line to try to get that light in there in the end. But the minute you cross the line and have too much highlight, then you start really losing the dark. Yeah, I messed around with oils enough to understand that I could do it. It's just a different, I dipped my toe in it this past year. And I enjoy it. It is a different beast. I can see myself going into it a little bit more in the future. Though part of me does very much appreciate being able to not have to stop. Like I feel like with oils, I would need to have a couple models going at once. Because, you know, there comes a point where we have to stop and put it down so that it dries, right? So you're going to end up with a lot of models kind of impartial. I missed a spot. See that little bit of gray there on her foot. You know, it's not too intimidating. You just got to get used to it. Pick a really simple project to start it with the oils. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, James, I mean, James is, for those who don't know where James comes from, he comes from traditional canvas art. And oils are his thing. When he came to this market, he understood that there were definitely people who could benefit from his skill set, and once he went to the oils, that was really his unique contribution. Yeah, I try to really limit these days, Butts, because I get overwhelmed really easy these days. I've got so much going on. So I've learned that I have to have like maybe 3 projects. I can't go over 3. If I go over 3, I have to put one away and never look at it for like months. And I have to essentially like shove it into the pit, pretend it doesn't exist. And I hate having those projects sitting around. So instead, I have enough different models right now that I feel like I can get enthused to work on any one of them pretty easily. So I just try to make it that each model is very different. Well, yeah, but James is an expert pendrake. He knows exactly how he can push with brush pressure and paint consistency. And I get that. But for me, in my painting style, I have to wait. Because I'll do something, but then I'll want to come in and do something with much tighter detail. And yeah, there's a way to do it, but yeah. Yeah. No, James is just, he's at like, his level at oils is like my level at acrylics. I feel like I can make acrylics sit up and beg and do anything I want. It doesn't matter. But James can do that with oils because that's where he lived for so long. So it's time, folks. It's time. I mean, is he a wizard? Yes. He's worked to get there. It's very important to say that, you know, if you put in the work, it's reachable. But James has put in decades of work, and not everybody would have the oomph to do that. And he loves it. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. As long as as long as you're finishing stuff here and there. Don't even have to finish a lot of stuff. I finish so few pieces each year. This day and age. So I'm putting a little bit of a highlight on the side here, and you can see how as you add highlights, everything starts coming up. But I am keeping a lot dark, so it's working so far. I really enjoy painting legs, actually, since it's like cylinders, and cylinders are very easy to paint with NMM. It's really a line of light going down the front. Oh, there's a little speck I missed. Yeah, I think ideally what I want to have, because right now my problem is that all the models I've started are all 75 mils. Like for a while everything was a bust, and now everything is 75 millimeter. I feel like what I really need to do is have one project that's a 28, one project that's a 75, and one project that's a bust. And just kind of like do that, right? Oh, James Wobble. If you're interested in oil painting, check out Lopelius. Do we have a shout out for that, Quindy? For James? With an easy link. He streams a lot. Yeah, he's a master with oils. He'll just leave your jaw dropping. Like, when I watch him, I know how, like, he's doing what he's doing, and then my jaw still drops. Little tiny highlights all down the front. Waffles, it would be kind of cool if Reaper did transition that way. I don't know. I don't work at the headquarters anymore. But Bones USA is something that Reaper's able to do in-house in the USA, right? So it provides, like, jobs in the USA, and it is Reaper's USA. It allows them not to outsource so much to overseas. There we go, shout out. So if you want James Wobble, go to that Wapelius link and give him a follow. James streams a lot. Need to get these highlights lined up a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit uneven there. Yeah, they might be at the front door. I don't know, Agent Marvel. Well, will they at least take it to a pickup facility where you can actually, like, get it? At that point, it might be easier. Seriously, like, the mail has been crazy lately. I have so many friends who've gotten, like, especially FedEx, have gotten kind of screwed by FedEx recently. Fewer problems with UPS that I've heard of, but who knows? All right, so down the front. Now we've got a little bit too much highlight, so I need to neaten that up. Yeah, unfortunately that means I really need to finish one of these 75s so that I can get it off my plate, and I need to replace it with a bust or a 28. So neatening up things just a little bit. That was a lot of it right there. We want this. I need a little bit more on this side. Oh, yeah, Agent Mar. I hate that. Don't you hate that? I hate that. It's like when you finally get the oomph up to go and try to do something like that, and then it throws up, oh, you need a password that you don't remember because you made it 4 years ago. You know? Oh, sometimes, technology. There we go. So we're a little bit more. Part of these is how the plates are or aren't lining up, but that's pretty good. You want to see that light coming in kind of a line down the front of the leg, because a cylinder is going to do that. It's going to get interrupted with other shapes in here. Like we've definitely got like an edged sphere, right? And a sphere that comes out and then cuts back in an edge, but it's rounded. And then you've got these little diamond-shaped guys here. But in general, cylinder, curved pieces of cylinders are all going to highlight like that. Oh, UPS drivers won't cross a threshold to deliver. Oh, okay. So maybe that's it, Agent Marble. Maybe you need to wait outside. That's got to suck in the winter, though. Come on, UPS. Come on. Decency here. Wow. I don't know. It's crazy talk. And speaking of screw-ups, I have attempted, like, twice now to change my name with my bank, and they have changed it, like, even on the emails they send me, it's changed. But it's not changed on the cards they keep sending me, my replacement debit and credit cards. Second lot of them arrived with the same old name on it. It's like, dudes, seriously? Does nobody ever change their name at your bank? You know? Seriously. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, I get it. Well, nobody wants to wait outside or downstairs for hours, right? Because you have no idea when they'll come. Yeah, not practical. Hopefully they'll at least like send you an email going, hey, it's at this pickup facility and you can, you know, come and get it, which is more doable. All right, so this is a very small highlight. And it's pretty much the pure white, and we need to put a tiny dot of it, and this is why this is so hard. Because the brush control and the tiny amount of paint. This is why NMM is just easier on big stuff. If you've got tiny little segments like this anyway. I think I need a little more water in my white. There we go. A little brighter. Yeah, it's probably better for you anyway, Agent Marvel. Sorry you're having to deal with that. I'm going to stop in and harangue my bank today and say, who can fix this bloody thing? And no, you're not going to charge me more fees. I try to be nice. Like, I'm nice until I'm not. until they have shown a high level of incompetence. Then I'm like... And it's not even the poor lady who helped me. It's not her fault. Okay, so that's maybe a little too bright. It's showing up as brighter than it looks in person. But what I can do is to take my initial color, the dark color, and do a glaze. So I'm going to knock down that highlight. Glaze. Colored water. And glaze. But yeah, just generally looking at a day that's not very productive and not very enjoyable today between the car service and the bank stop by. You know. At least the car service, I can camp out in their little area and get some work done. Doing a really bright edge here. And these little highlights are showing up a lot brighter than they actually are. Everything is actually showing a little, I think it's the contrast between what I'm doing and the surrounding metal, but it's working slowly. This is going to be a blue-black, Richard. Blue-black NMM. We talked about it at, if you go back and watch the VOD, I kind of shared with the room what I was thinking of doing, and people were enthusiastic. So I'm going to do just a little bit of stippled, just a little stippled highlight here to pick up more light and suggest a little bit of texture. I used to do a lot of blue-black armor on vampires and such, Richard, so I always enjoyed doing it, and I thought it would be a really good call with her hair color. It would be complementary, so it would really make everything pop. So that is what we are doing. And we need to get a little bit of reflected light on the inside of the leg and the inside of the calf. Just a little bit. And I'll have to blend that in. A little bit blended in there. Got a little sharp down there, so we'll plop some paint around that. That would be a good shortcut. As long as you make sure your highlights are high enough so that it shows through your wash, though. Although, I guess with metallics, you're not worried about it with highlights. Probably. But if you are working your metallics with highlights, do be sure that you have them high enough so that they show through your wash. And if you can, build your wash with a gloss sealer in it or gloss medium, which will help your metallics to stay kind of shiny. Otherwise, if you put a regular paint wash over your metallics, it will definitely dull the shine. Because the hair is orange. Kodiak. Whenever you see a weird color, break it down. Yes, it's a red head, but it's really, if you look at it, orange. So since we have orange in the equation, blue is complementary to orange on your color wheel. That make sense? Yeah, gotcha. Gotcha, Richard. No heavy thinking on that one. Does that make sense, Kodiak? Just want to make sure. But yeah, so this is an excellent example of how you can paint with complementary colors without having orange and blue next to each other, like orange and blue, like dragon blue and sunrise orange. Make one really dark. This one is moderate, mid dark, I would say, in the middle with the highlights. And then our next color is going to be red. So actually what we're doing is we're doing a 4-color scheme. We're doing a triad. We're doing primary triad +1. And you can also do secondary triad +1. And the reason that we are doing it is that we're going to have red cloth, which is, you know, I'll probably put a little bit of the auburn shadow in to shade the red, just to tie it together a little bit. And then all of the detailing, like the sword hilt and stuff, the detail metal is going to be gold, so it'll be yellow. But the reason that this will work is going heavy with the blue, is you can throw the orange in then as the red hair, because the blue is a main color and the orange is a complement to it. So like if I only have tiny touches of gold and I tried to do purple, it wouldn't be as successful, but because the orange is not complementary to purple. But because a lot of the model will be blue, my accent color being orange makes perfect sense. So you can think of it that way. It's just like if I was going heavily red, then I'd have to maybe use a green accent color if I was going with red, yellow, blue. The easiest way to just start thinking about the wheel, though, Kodiak, don't look at it and freak out your brain. All you should be concerned with when you are starting out is complementary colors. Complementary colors and the triads. And then just remember that you want a selection of darks and lights within those. This is, by the way, also a sneaky way. We talked about muted colors earlier and how you need to like mute all your colors just a little bit usually, unless it's an accent. So this hair gets around that neatly. And it does that by its base being a very muted orange red. But its highlights, I actually did use some sunrise orange to mix those. So it is a combo of muted and bright. Which means that if I had chosen, like if she was wearing more cloth, and I had chosen to make that cloth a fairly bright blue, I would still be okay because of these bright orange highlights. Whereas instead I'm playing more to the muted side of the hair color, and I'm going with a really dark muted blue. Have fun, Crowley. But yeah, don't with the wheel, just simplify it. You got to simplify it first, and then start looking at all the crazy. So the easiest way to deal with the wheel is just to look at, always remember, use it to remember your complementaries. And people might be like, oh, that's so easy. But, it isn't always when you've got a yellow-orange, right? Maybe you need to stop and think and, look at your wheel and go to blue-violet to understand that, an indigo actually would be complementary to a yellow-orange or an orange-yellow. So for those tertiary colors, it's very useful sometimes to remind yourself. Because a lot of us know that red and green are complementary, but we may not know how to treat a blue-green. We may not immediately decide to do red-violet with that. Hi there, baby girl. Or to do red and shade it with purple. Same thing. Hi, Kiki. Hi, Kiki. Do you want to come up and say hi to peeps? Do you want to come up and say hi to peeps? Come on up. Oh, can you get up? Yeah. There's my girl. Here, I'm going to get your paw. Put it over my arm. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Oh, snuggles, guys. Look at these snuggles. There's my girl. There's my girl. Good girl. Mwah. All right. Oh, no, you're going to knock down everything. Good girl. Good girl, Keekers. Good girl. Hey, do you want your bully? What's that? What's the bully? Yeah, you left your bully in here. And she's like, I numbed it. I don't need it. Oh, no. No nums. No nums. It's not time yet. It's almost time. It's almost time. Yeah, she's immense. Hi, immense dog. Hi. No, gotta settle. I'm almost done, Keeks, but I gotta keep working on this. Just a few minutes, okay? I'll be out in just a few minutes. Good girl. Teal and purple not working. Which colors? Can you tell me? Or are they mixes? Hey there, Julie. Yes, the Kiki. The Kiki's coming to Arizona. Julie? Next week. Or I should say next weekend. Because we'll be driving for the first 2 days. Yeah, Kiki. You get to visit Arizona. But hopefully the Kiki will also come to ReaperCon this year, so. Although for much of the con, she'll probably be at my ex's house because he's offered to dog sit. A dark teal and a lighter mid purple. That does invert the typical, right? But it should still work. It doesn't work as well, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to play with it. It should work, though. Is it a reddish purple? Yeah, that should work. Well, we did one when she was a baby, right, Twisted Oma? Did one from North Dakota all the way to California. So She hasn't been that long in a car since, though, so I did buy some Dramamine. Papa, what you playing with, and is it supposed to be played with? She's such a silly goof. I'm gonna have to abandon her for my appointments. Hey, Pa, what you got? Papa. Are you in the bathroom you shouldn't be in? Yeah. Fiendish paw. Oh, more of a lavender. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, in my head that doesn't, like... Unless the teal's really dark. Hold on, let me shut Kiki out of the room she's getting into trouble in. Hey, trouble dog. No trouble dog. Yes, trouble dog. You're trying to disrupt the end of my stream, and you're succeeding. You're succeeding. Come on now. Come on. I'll be out in just a moment. Let me bring you your bully. I need to go another 5 minutes or so. Like, I can see that working with a black teal. Maybe. Yeah, I'd have to see the figure. I could probably troubleshoot it very easily with the figure. But, I mean, so we've got a teal and we've got a pale violet. So we've got a blue-green and we've got a violet. So those should work together, right? If we go and, if we look at it, it's a tertiary, right? It's a tetrad. So the teal, or sorry, if it's actual violet, then it's, another tetrad. So these. So then the blonde hair should work. And red-orange, meaning probably a reddish-brown for your leather, would work that way. And that would be a tetrad. So it should work. Yeah, Luca was. She said yesterday Luca won't be on today. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to see it. I'd have to see the actual colors, I think. Because that should work. You're right. It's part of this tetrad right here. And you know, if I saw it, I'd probably be able to, like, pinpoint it really fast. I'm going to get a little bit more on this, but you guys can kind of see how it's turning out. Let me get a little closer also. Jerk. So it's starting to read correctly, although we haven't done a lot of reflected light and stuff yet. So this being a proof of concept, though, it is dark. It looks dark from a distance. It still looks dark when you get up close. So this is still reading, because I'm keeping my highlights very small, it's still reading as like a blue-black armor. So I'm going to say that this is pretty good. Or if you aren't a patron, you could put it in Reaper's Discord and see if other people can do it. Other people could troubleshoot it. Yeah, I think this is about right. I'm going to grab my white just a little bit and pop a tiny highlight there. So yeah, we definitely will need some white, some pinpoint white highlights here to bring it up and make it look right. But for the most part, that looks correct. So, but yeah, if you do it in work in progress, Inara, I should be able to get to my Discord today or tomorrow. I have it on my schedule, so I will look for it and see if I can help. But yeah, so we're going to do all the armor that way. She does have that red tabard and she's got that skirt. And then we will be putting, as I mentioned, some silvery chainmail as well. But we'll pop this and get these all blocked in, and then we'll start filling in the other colors. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me see tomorrow. It's Old Spice Genie again. I think I might finish Old Spice Genie out fairly quickly. I'm getting a little sick of him, and so because we're making just really little progress each time we do things. But I am going to try to finish out this skirt of NMM, and I don't know, maybe we'll do the gold here. I don't know. I'm getting to that point, though. This is why I don't do big models on this stream usually, is because you just get so sick. I get so sick of them by the end of it. I just want to stop and do something else. So, yeah. Thanks everybody for showing up. And he really looks like it, though, doesn't he, Chibi? It's like, that's what I call him now. But, yes. So, yeah, this dude tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's about it. We'll just keep going with Sophie. I'm very excited about this model. I think it'll end up really awesome. So, that said, I'll see you all in the morning. And, yeah, have a great one and enjoy your afternoon or evening wherever you are. Bye-bye.